If you travel by train from Dumfries to Carlisle, roughly halfway between Annan and Gretna Green on the old Glasgow and South Western, you'll hear the steady hum of the train broken by the sound of a set of points. This is where a track leads off into the old Ministry of Defence depot at Eastriggs. This is a place that I have long wanted to film, especially when I made my history of the Southwestern, but every attempt to get near to the site was met by signs such as this. The public were clearly not welcome here, and any attempt to fly the drone over the site was likely to meet with a very hostile reception. The most up-to-date Ordnance Survey map shows an extensive railway network within the site, and I was keen to film this. Before the First World War, this was just a marshy area beside the Solway Firth. The Great Shells scandal of 1915 led to the establishment of a munitions factory covering 9 miles along the Solway coast and across the border as far as Longtown in Cumberland. The story is far too complex to cover here. Try looking up the Devil's Porridge online. The sizable communities of Eastriggs and Gretna were built in this almost uninhabited area to house some of the 30,000 workers. The site was used for storing ammunition until 2010, hence the high security levels. Rail Sidings Limited envisaged using the site for stabling high-speed stock as part of the HS2 scheme, and some vehicles have already taken up residence. The line passes under the old A75 Gretna to Stranraer road. This road has been replaced by a modern road, which bypasses the many villages and towns along the route, but remains single carriageway and not well suited to the often heavy traffic heading for the Northern Ireland ferries. Note the gate across the track, blocking access to the old munitions area. The whole area in front of us was covered with small work buildings, sufficiently separated from each other that, in the event of an accident involving explosive materials, and they did happen, an all-engulfing disaster would be avoided. A 2-foot gauge railway was used to transport materials around the site. There was a network of 125 miles of track in total, using 34 engines. With high explosive substances involved, conventional coal-fired steam engines were an absolute no-no. Andrew Barclay Fireless locomotives were used, running on compressed air or steam, which was replenished from an outside source, safely located away from any explosive material. As I bring the drone back to me, we catch a distant glimpse of the present community of Eastriggs, a sizable settlement whose existence is entirely due to the need for enormous quantities of ammunition for the Western Front in the First World War. But now I must press on to my regular haunt of Carlisle Citadel Station, where a steam train is due to arrive.
Nobody appears to be getting on this or getting on.
A rare sight shortly after I arrive, a pendolino passing through non-stop. According to RTT, it's empty stock running from Glasgow Central to Preston, but curiously, there's no report of it prior to passing Gretna Junction.
Oh, don't often see them.
The platform's unusually quiet, but it is Sunday, and Tangmere is such a regular visitor these days that all but the die-hard enthusiasts have lost interest in her. Departure for Upperby and servicing, but a sudden stop. Apparently the signal box has wrong routed her for the Maryport and Carlisle line. The driver has spotted the indicator and halted his train. Now we have a long delay whilst efforts are made to sort out the situation. The W indicator shows that the points are set for the West Coast Main Line, which will give access to Upperby Depot. Now, I had planned to travel to film part of her return journey to York. But you may have spotted the rainwater running off the locomotive earlier. My plans need good dry weather, so I'll just have to stay here in the Citadel and film yet another Tangmere departure. There'll always be another day.
It's okay, Mr. Keegan. I'm always after him here. Right. See.
decided, you make sure before you launch it that it knew its home point. Eventually the onboard computer will say, right, I have only enough battery left to get me home, and so it will turn round and it will come home by itself.
Thanks for watching on this damp grey day. Here's to the next time, and it won't be Tangmere.